Hey everyone, it's Michael GoosebumpsFan. Today I'm going to be doing another Goosebumps episode review for the book that I just read and did a review for here on the channel called Bad Hair Day. Bad Hair Day is Season 2, Episode 4. It premiered on September 14th, 1996. There's a lot of interesting things about this episode. Overall, as an adaptation, it's okay. It's not very faithful. For a 20-minute long adaptation of a 117-page long book, it's mostly fun, it's mostly faithful. There are some things changed here and there. There's kind of an ending that is similar to the original ending, but not as, to me, as satisfying as that episode. But I love how this episode maintained a lot of the humor, a couple of moments that are kind of frightening are here. But it also maintains kind of that silliness that I talked about in my book review for Bad Hair Day. Bad Hair Day is not like the best Goosebumps book I've ever read in my life. This episode is not one of my favorite episodes I've ever seen of the show. It's not terrible, it's not horrible, it's certainly better than You Can't Scare Me's episode adaptation thing that I hate so much. There's some interesting things about this one. I'll kind of start off with the plot before I get into those interesting things. Essentially, you have a young man named Tim, and Tim and his friend Foz are going to the magic shop in their local town that they go to all the time because mainly Tim, the main character, loves to do magic tricks and loves to basically be obsessed over this particular magician who's famous, who's come into town, called Amazo. A-M-A-Z-O is how you spell his name. And Amazo, in my opinion, is much better in the book and in the live Disneyland video that you can see online with the performer who played him then. Amazo is awesome. I really like him a lot. I forgot to mention that in the book review that I did. I like Amazo a lot. He's not in the book that much, but when he is, I like him a lot. In this episode, he's okay. He's kind of played by one of the worst actors ever. Kind of on the same league as the guy who played Samurai Cop, if you've seen that. If you haven't, I don't know what to tell you. It ain't the best. The episode's music, especially the scene of where Tim is going down the stairs to sneak off to go see this magic show from Amazo that's being performed, that's after school hours, and it's on a school night, so, you know, he's not supposed to be going, but he sneaks out with his little sister Jenny to go to this thing, even though his parents said no, because the shop owner gave he and his main friend, his best friend, a couple of tickets to go to that show that night. The music that plays when Tim is going down the stairs is fantastic. I really love the music. I think the music is so atmospheric here. And when you end this episode, it has like a custom version of the Goosebumps theme song that you're familiar with the TV show. And it's amazing. It is jamming stuff, dude. It's pretty 90s. It's like a really classy 90s version of the Goosebumps theme song. Even though it's a 90s show. It was a very interesting theme. You should check out the episode just to hear the song like I'm talking about. Most of this episode is relying on the 1990s trick of, hey, we're gonna have an animal that talks in the episode, so we're gonna have a filming of an animal, and hopefully this bunny will move its mouth and its nose and stuff sometimes, so we can make it look like it's talking. It's horrible. It's genuinely horrible. The special effects, there's like one in here, and it's atrocious because it's the Goosebumps TV show. It's a very low budget show. The sets are okay. For example, the lounge that they go to see Amazo perform is pretty cool looking. I really like that. But in the place that they have to go to see this magic trick, there is a cameo from someone that I did not expect to see in Goosebumps ever. I've never heard anybody mention this. I don't know if I'm just the only person that's a fan of this guy. Colin Mochrie, who, if you don't know who he is a famous improv comedian from Whose Line Is It Anyway? And Whose Line Is It Anyway has a lot of famous people you've probably seen. A lot of really good comedians that I enjoy a lot. I like the old Whose Line Is It Anyway from the early 2000s, not the new garbage that kind of got a reboot and I think it got canceled, I believe. Whose Line Is It Anyway had Drew Carey kind of hosting the show. It had some really funny people on the show that I loved to death, especially Ryan. Ryan and Colin were always my favorites, no matter who else was on the show, and they were almost always on the show. I think they even came back for the reboot show. But Colin Mochrie, you talk about somebody who's funny. Colin Mochrie, to see him doing a random cameo in Goosebumps, is just a weird guy that's trying to escort the kid out of the house, or out of the building. I was just like, why would you not let him play Amazo? Or particularly the villain in the episode, because Colin Mochrie could pull that off to be hamming it up for Goosebumps, because he could do it. Trust me, I've seen him do improv on that show. I know how good this guy is. I was dumbfounded. I guess he was just a friend of somebody who wanted him on the show. I don't know, Colin Mockery, check him out, he's really funny. Anyway, the episode is made by somebody named John Bell, directed by him. John Bell did a lot of the episodes like the Cuckoo Clock of Doom, Click. There was another one I know off the top of my head. There's a lot of them that were on the IMDb list in case you want to check that out. I've talked about a few of them here on the channel. John Bell's good. His directing is fine for a low-budget TV episode of a kid's horror show. And again, this is not really a horror episode, kind of like how the book is not really a horror book. It's not meant to be scary. There's like a moment or two that are kind of frightening, mainly for kids, not so much with adults, in the book or the episode for that matter. It's just good. It's a silly, fun, weird, bizarre, over-the-top type of episode, and I like it for that. I love it for that. I don't love the episode, I just love it for what it's trying to be. It ain't anything special. Like I said in my book review, how many times do you nowadays, in 2020, see any kind of scary, evil magician type movies, TV episodes, books, anything like that in children's entertainment? It's not very common. So I was interested to see that. I really enjoyed that. There's nothing really else to say about it, honestly. I really love this. I really hope that you'll check it out on my recommendation as an episode. It's not great. If you like the book a lot, like how I did, I'd recommend it to you. If you don't like the book, it's really not worth checking out unless you just like the Goosebumps TV show for how silly and kooky it is. You might like this a lot more than I did. But for overall, it was fine. It was fine. If I had to rate Bad Hair Day, the TV episode adaptation of the book by R.L. Stine, on a 5-star basis, I would probably give this about, maybe a 3 out of 5. I liked it a lot better than garbage like Perfect School. Perfect School sucked. For the most part. But I liked it a lot more than that, as much as I can say. The ending is still crap. The ending, I think, is a little bit worse here than it is in the actual book itself. The ending in the book is a little eerie, but also kind of funny and silly. But here it's just bad. Bad ending. I don't like the little changes they did for this, but for the most part, like I said, the episode is mostly faithful as an adaptation of that book. So it's kind of up to you what you want to check out and stuff. It's not some horrible, terrible mess like what they did to You Can't Scare Me, which is one of my favorite Goosebumps books, and the TV episode is abomination. Is an abomination. Excuse me. Anyway, what are your thoughts? Put your thoughts down below. I'd love to hear what you have to say about Bad Hair Day. Did you love the book more? Did you like the TV episode more? Would you like a sequel to Bad Hair Day? Why have we not gotten more Amazo stuff in Goosebumps? I think there may possibly be a reference to Amazo in a Give Yourself Goosebumps book. I think there was. I could be wrong about that, but I believe I read one somewhere around one of the books I recently read that had a cameo of him in there. But other than that, I don't think we've ever gotten a sequel with Amazo, which is kind of a shame, because I like Amazo a lot. Anyway, what are your thoughts? Put them down below. Thank you for watching, guys. May the Lord Jesus Christ bless you guys today, and goodbye. I forgot to hit the button, and I missed.